All right, it is 7 o'clock, and we will call this meeting to order. First item of business is roll call.
Councilmember Diaz.
Present.
Vice Mayor Nia.
Here.
Mayor Juan.
I'm here.
Councilmember Trupiano.
I'm here.
Councilmember Tillman.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Next is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next is item 3, public comment on non-agenda items. If anyone has any comment on anything not on the agenda, now is time. I do have one speaker card. Okay. Ms. Callahan? Sorry.
Question for the city clerk. Did we receive some package in the mail or at your office for inclusion in tonight's non-agenda items?
Yes, we received a packet from
Clayton Watch.
Clayton Watch.
That's what's on
Yes.
here. Okay, I just want to make sure that's entered into the record.
Yes, we did receive that today, this afternoon.
Can
Please.
I go? Okay. Good evening, Mayor, council members, and staff. My name is Amy Callahan, and I'm a longtime resident here in Clayton. I'm here tonight to address a concern regarding transparency in our city government. My question is, why have the historical videos of our city council, planning commission, and other recorded meetings from prior to April of 2026 been removed from the city website? Local governance relies on the open and free flow of information, and these video archives are not just digital clutter. They are the past visual record of how decisions were made in our community. They show the evolution of our zoning laws, how our tax dollars have been allocated, how past councils and commissioners have responded to public input, and when the public loses access to that, we lose our institutional memory. So recently, because of the scrutiny and several procedural shifts we've had in the city council, there's been even a grand jury investigation. I just am concerned that the transparency is lacking. While I understand that administrative priorities change, transparency should always remain a constant. So if the city is looking to update the digital infrastructure, I understand that migrating these files to an accessible platform like YouTube is an option. However, all of those videos have also been removed from the YouTube platform. So I urge the council to just look into this and see if there's a way to restore these files. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's probably an oversight. That's never our intent to remove. So I would ask if staff would respond to that, because we certainly want everything to be there all the time.
Yeah. I appreciate that, Senate. I know it's atypical that we would respond to a public comment, but
Please.
I think this is an important thing. So I think most of you are aware we recently transitioned our website to Civic Plus, and part of that was also to change platforms from the system that manages our agenda from Granicus to Civic Plus. We have two things going on. We've had staff downloading the videos from Granicus in order to retain them. We are also going to get a large export from Granicus before the end of the contract to be able to get those. We just haven't found the place to put them yet. And so they will be back. They are around. We have retained them as part of the public record, as part of that transparency. We just have to have the right place to put them, and we just don't have that right now. We're working on it very hard. Expect in the next 30 to 45 days, they will all be back.
Okay, thank you. Actually, I believe our city clerk has an announcement for non-agenda items.
Yes, I'm just going to make a quick announcement about virtual public comment. Before we begin, I'd like to review our public comment procedures. Members of the public may provide public comment either in person or virtually through Zoom during each public comment period. The City Council will first hear from those attending in person, followed by those participating virtually via Zoom. If you are joining us remotely and wish to provide public comment, please participate through Zoom. We do not recommend watching the meeting on YouTube if you plan to speak, as the live stream may be delayed. When the mayor invites public comment for the item on which you would like to comment, please use the raised hand feature in Zoom. If you are participating by telephone, press *9 to raise your hand. When it's your turn to speak, the city clerk will call on you, and you will be prompted to unmute your microphone. Please state your name for the record before beginning your comments, and as a courtesy to everyone participating, please minimize or mute any background noise before and after speaking. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Is there any other public comment in the room for non-agenda items? The speaker card that I received, it didn't have an agenda item indicated, but I believe it's item 8A, so that will come later in the meeting. Okay, do we have anyone online?
We do not have any hands raised online.
Okay, then I will close public comment on non-agenda items. Next is item 4, interviews for planning commissioners. We do have 3 openings for our planning commission, and I believe we have received 4 applications. So I believe we're going to take these in the order that they're listed in the agenda. And so first up is Nate, I believe, if I get this correct. Yes, so Nate, if you would join us at the lectern. All right. So historically, we've done this a little differently. I think we've had a series of questions that we kind of all went through with the same, but I think this year we're doing it slightly differently in that for incumbent planning commissioners, the questions are a little different since we've asked you normal questions already. So I gotta wear my glasses. I can't actually read them. So thanks. So I'll just start, and I think if there are other questions that folks have for our existing planning commissioners, I think we're welcome, or I welcome those as well. But so first off, I would just say, if you could tell the council the reasons why you are seeking another term on the planning commission.
Yes, absolutely. Good evening, council, Mayor Juan, staff. Thank you for the opportunity to interview again. Serving on the Planning Commission has been an extremely rewarding opportunity to give back to the Clayton community and help guide decisions that affect the city's future. During my time on the commission, I've developed a greater appreciation for the importance of thoughtful planning, community engagement, and objective decision-making. I'm seeking reappointment because I believe I can continue to make a meaningful contribution through the experience I've gained during my current term. My professional work in my work life with public sector entities and organizations, and my commitment to preserving the character and quality of life that make Clayton such a desirable community to live, not only for me, but my friends and my family. I'd be honored to continue serving the residents of Clayton.
Thank you. Does council have other questions for Nate? We can go through number 2.
Well, I was going to ask Nate number 2, the question is, please explain what you have learned during your time as commissioner and how it will affect your decisions in the future.
Yes, over the past year and a half serving the Planning Commission, I've gained valuable experience evaluating land use applications, interpreting municipal policies, and balancing community interests with the city's long-term planning objectives. This experience has straightened my understanding of the Commission's role in supporting thoughtful, consistent, and transparent decision-making while making sure that the projects are evaluated on their merits and in accordance with the established regulations and planning principles. In addition to that, I understand the importance and heightened scope around the California Department of Housing Community Development. And as Clayton works to meet its housing obligations, it's important that growth be planned responsibly with careful consideration given to the infrastructure, traffic, public safety, environmental impacts, and neighborhood compatibility. Equally important is ensuring that the developmental proposals and planning initiatives are evaluated consistently and objectively in accordance with the city's plan and the municipal code, while maintaining meaningful community engagement throughout the planning process so residents have the opportunity to provide input on the decisions that affect the future of the city where they live. For me, the Planning Commission's responsibility is to help ensure that the Clayton remains a vibrant and desirable community while thoughtfully balancing state mandates, local needs, and long-term interests of the current and the future.
Thank you, Nate.
Thank you. Other questions from council?
Yeah, I have a procedural question relative to the Planning Commission. We don't have a number of meetings all the time, is that correct? They're less frequent than they have been on a regular basis?
That is correct. There is, I want to call it a quota. We're supposed to meet twice a month, and one of the commissioners who's deciding to retire and hang his jersey up in the rafters has been really instrumental in helping us not only identify efficiencies and processes, but just promoting better collaboration and meeting more regularly. Recently, we've been holding sessions on just working with Craig specifically on, better transparency initiatives with the public for those meetings, and just finding ways that we could be more efficient.
You're headed right where I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Are you getting additional training from the staff on how you perform as a planning commissioner?
That was one of the metrics that I had brought up, and again, I'm smart enough at this age to, not try and replicate or do something that, if it's working, don't try and fix it. And one of the commissioners that is retiring, very simply said when I first came, we're here to call balls and strikes. But along with that, there are metrics that I think that we can implement and institute just to be able to gauge our efficiency and effectiveness with the things that come across the commission, because at the end of the day, we all want to ensure that we're doing our jobs to the best of our ability, and we really can't do that unless there's some baseline element involved to determine what that looks like.
I'm happy to hear that you're championing that, because one of the things that I would like to see when there are less items coming to the Planning Commission, that maybe you avail yourselves of training from the League of California City, because they have a full, vast array of training classes that you can bring yourselves up to complete status and date in planning matters. But thank you.
Absolutely. Another planning commissioner has been very instrumental in just highlighting those resources and trying to ensure that we're up to speed on all the latest things that are going on. Yep.
Can
Thank
you
you.
give some, I'm sorry?
Oh, I was going to say call for other questions. So
Thank
perfect.
you. Can you give some examples of the metrics that you were just mentioning?
For me, I think it has been a process of what is the timeline from which something is, reviewed by staff, from which it gets to us. And I think one of the things that we've identified as a commission are the tools that are in our toolbox, right? There's a finite number of things, and so what we're looking to do is identify what exists within the current, makeup of the commission to see where we can broaden that toolbox, and then also look to other local combating commissions nearby to see maybe things that they're doing that we could look to implement. One of those things that's come up, has been story polls. So if you have some project that, represents a significant size and scope, physically putting those poles in its place to demonstrate, what it would look like. And for me, I think, we get the packets on a Friday, and they don't always contain the full scope of things in order for us to be able to make an informed, full decision. And so those are all things that myself, along with the other planning commissioners, have been looking to see how can we ensure that when something comes to the planning commission, that we're able to look and evaluate the project and scope of it on its merits and not have to defer or push out a decision because of the incompleteness of what the information is presented to us.
So what are some of your suggestions then to help bridge that gap?
Well, the story polls have been one thing in particular. I think just being in full transparency, this is my first year and a half on the Planning Commission, so learning the jargon, the actual naming conventions for what all this entails and exists, has been a learning curve, but something that I picked up quickly. And so, again, I think it's a matter of continuing to have at-bats and get more and more experience so that we are fully versed and well-spoken with what falls within the scope of the commission. Another area that I know has been difficult at times is just the pictures or scaling don't necessarily depict the size of the project. And so, 3D modeling has been something that we've brought up. I think what I'm also cognizant of, are creating barriers and additional, financial constraints for people that are presenting projects that come before the commission. And so trying to balance those things and create, I think, a threshold for which, a project would merit some 3D modeling or story polls versus something that, is a personal matter of someone looking to do something within the size and scope of their home, adding a trestle or something along those lines.
Okay. I think what the question that I'm getting at is you specifically mentioned getting the packet on a Friday and being prepared for the meeting on a Tuesday. It's what we do if you're a planning commissioner or a city council member.
Absolutely.
What is it that you're looking for differently than, I guess, that you're not getting, besides being up to speed on what the jargon is and the terminology?
Sure.
What
So
else besides that are you looking for and
we
you think
get a
is missing?
packet that are on these 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper, and they truly don't depict what a project looks like. They're in black and white. They're not fully to scale. So, that's one very simple thing that I think we all can agree upon, that if you have a better visualization of something, that you have a better ability to evaluate the merits and the scope of the project.
Excellent, thank you. Other questions from council? Oh. Okay.
We have these handy dandy new questions. Why is nobody using them? I'll use one. Public meetings often involve differing viewpoints and emotional testimony. I think you guys might have gone through this recently.
Yes.
How would you ensure that all members of the public feel heard while maintaining a respectful and productive meeting? And also, how do you approach balancing these sometimes competing priorities of keeping our small town feel while also remembering what the state mandates are?
Sure. So within every planning commission meeting, there is the opportunity for public comment. And for me personally, that means completely shutting off and listening to what that person has to say relative to the subject matter that they're speaking to, capturing those, sometimes qualitative metrics that go along with the quantitative are extremely important. But at the same token, I think one of the things that I've learned over the 1.5 years in serving on the planning commission is that there is a scope for which we need to view the things that come across our desk. And personally, there's been things that, philosophically I struggle with, but again, it goes back to me understanding what the job of the planning commission is and what are the merits in which we should be evaluating the projects and land use applications that come across our desk.
Other questions from council? Okay. Well, I would thank you for your application, and we're going to consider it later in the evening. Just as a preview to others, the agenda calls for the interviews first, and then a number of other activities prior, and then the appointment. So I think we're going to change the order. So right after this, we'll jump straight to that agenda item so you guys can, you don't have to join us for all of the festivities if you don't.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Mayor Wan. Thank you, council members, and thank you, staff.
All right. So next up is Mr. Lazoya. Did I pronounce that correctly? Perhaps, did I say it that poorly? I could have. Lazoya? Tony Lazoya. Okay. Moving on. Next is Mr. Schmidt. All right, welcome. You'll have an opportunity to make an opening statement if you like, but I will start with I'll give you a time to introduce yourself. I know that you've applied before, so welcome back. Really, the first question is kind of similar to the prior gentleman. Why are you seeking a term on the Planning Commission?
First of all, thanks for having me here again. Mayor, council, city staff, and city residents. Why am I interested in this position? Because I think I'm well qualified. I've done a lot of work with planning, support operations, and I've already started studying things like city ordinances, the municipal code, the general plan, the zoning laws. Because, as the previous person stated, there's a lot to learn. And with my planning background, I believe that I can contribute and not just spend the first year learning. I think I can hit the ground running and provide meaningful feedback as a city planning commissioner.
Excellent, thank you. I will turn it over to my fellow council members if you have other questions for Mr. Schmidt.
Yeah, what role do you see the planning commission play in the scheme of government here in the city of Clayton?
Well, so it's important to understand that the planning commission are not the final decision makers. That's up to the city council. But they are there to understand the rules, the laws as they apply, and take that information, those packets that we just heard about, and then provide information back to the city council to make ultimately the final decision on whether a project gets completed or not. And I will state that it's very important to be transparent, but also to follow the rule of law. That is, you can't go on biases. You can't let other people get excited. You have to be the referee. You have to say, these are the rules, and we're following the rules. So I saw lots of examples in California law where cities were overturned because, they had a bias, and we can't do that. So, Councilman Diaz, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, just to follow up, you mentioned something about how sometimes these decisions and these issues become a little emotional. How do you think you could handle that in a public setting?
Well, I'll say, to be honest, you never know until you're there, okay? As you all know, you've been there. But I would think that I would handle it well. I would like to say that with my military background, other military members have been under fire. So having upset people is not the same as being, say, under fire. And the way you handle yourself and the way you lead is very important. So I would like to think that I could, but I can't say until it happens, until that first shot is fired.
Everyone has a plan until
Thank
they're
you.
punched in the face. Mike Tyson. Other questions? Council?
Yes. Clayton residents consistently identify preserving the city's small-town character as a community priority. While the city must also comply with state housing laws and other legal requirements, how would you approach balancing these sometimes competing priorities when making decisions as a planning commissioner?
So you can't have laws which oppose one another. There is always a priority. And that's one of the difficulties of this commission, is to stay current with state, local, and sometimes federal laws. So this NIMBY thing that comes up is important, right? Not in my backyard. Well, if it's a law, you have to follow it, letter of the law, and you have to convey that. But it's really important as new laws come out that you study those laws, that you take the time to really understand them. So when a packet comes to you, you're not based on a bias. We want this to happen like this. If it's not in accordance with the law, you have to go with the law.
Thank you. Other questions?
Mr. Schmidt, how would you evaluate a development proposal that complies with the city's general plan and municipal code but is unpopular with nearby residents?
That never happens.
Yeah, well, all right, so you're never going to please everyone. But you have to remain transparent. And the key always is communication. So you have to be able to communicate why you're doing something that appears to be unpopular, but it's the letter of the law, and you have to communicate that clearly and effectively. And if you get out in front of it, right? If the commission gets out and they do special, let's just say, special meetings to learn these and get that message out there. So the messaging is very important. If you get that out there, you're less likely to then have on the back end people that are angry at you because this is unheard of. Well, if you can get that message out there prior to that, you're probably going to be not great, but at least in a better position.
Thank you.
I have one final question for me. I appreciate your tenacity. This is your third time applying, so why keep coming back and not giving up? I appreciate that, and I want to hear how you think you can really make a difference on this planning commission.
So let me tell you a little bit about myself, if you don't know me. I make a commitment and I kind of stick to it. So my lovely wife, we have been married 50 years, kind of made a commitment to her in high school. We stuck through it. So last May, we hit 50. In the military, I made a commitment to the military, and I stuck with it for 28 years. So 3 years, not a big deal, right? I still think that I'm well qualified, and having that same commitment now going forward will carry forward as a committee member to being committed to doing what's best for the community and following the rule of law.
Thank you.
Thank you, that was excellent. Any other questions from council? Appreciate your time and your application, thank you. You won't have to wait long, we'll move to the other part after the next candidate.
Understood. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, may I ask a question?
Please.
Since we only have 3 openings, we have 3 applicants, why do we delay the decision to another part of the agenda?
The decision-making component is agendized as a separate item, so we'll take that immediately after the interviews are completed.
I see no need to delay this any further.
So I'll adjust the agenda that way.
Okay, thank
in
you. I
terms
just
of
wanted
timing.
to clarify that. Thank you.
Next up is Ms. Schulman.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, staff.
You'll also be able to make a statement if you'd like, but my first question is, why are you seeking another term on the commission?
I'm seeking another term simply because the decisions that we make on the Planning Commission, it shapes our community for decades to come. And it shows how our neighborhoods grow and thrive, and it helps to ensure that our infrastructure is in place. And it's also my civic duty. I feel that, you know, living here and prospering here, that I am to give back to my community, my neighbors, my friends. And I enjoy doing what I do on the Planning Commission. I love being an advocate for our community, so when plans come in place, you know, if they're not, say, ADA compliant, and just recently with the new one, you know, I'm advocating for more entrances and exits for communities because we live in California and there's more fires, more earthquakes, landslides, floods, and we need these things because look at what happened down at Pacific Palisades. So I want to be an advocate for Clayton, and I enjoy it.
Thank you. Questions from council for Ms. Schulman?
I have one.
Since you are the current chair, is that correct?
No.
Oh, no longer?
No.
Okay. But when you were the chair, how did you handle the things that came before you if there were a conflict going on, you presiding at the meeting? Tell me if any incidences, excuse me, that happened during your tenure.
What kind of conflict? A personal conflict?
Well, on an
or-
issue that came up where there would be a conflict between the people, you know, coming to you and make presentations as a commissioner.
Well, you have to give people the opportunity during public comment. And of course, we cannot reply back, but we can talk amongst ourselves, and you have to listen to what they're saying, and you have to take that into consideration along with what our local laws are, our state laws, our federal laws. And, you have, along with that, we have other things to look at, like RENA and CEQA and other things. So that all plays into it. So when we talk amongst ourselves after hearing everything out and we address amongst ourselves so that people can hear, and when we make our decision of what we're doing, we let them know that this is why.
Thank you.
Okay, so Clayton residents consistently identify preserving the city's small-town character as a community priority, while the city must also comply with state housing laws and other legal requirements. How would you approach balancing these sometimes competing priorities when making decisions as a planning commissioner?
First and foremost, whenever you're making a decision, you always have to follow the law, whether it's municipal, whether it's state, federal, you have to follow the law. And you can't bring any personal bias or prejudice, you have to follow it. So when you're looking at it, you listen to what the community wants, and then you have to weigh it against all the data, all the laws, and you have to look at it in that way. And you sometimes have to really explain to people or listen to them and say, hey, this is what we can do, this is what we can't do, and we are trying to work within that statute to keep that small town feel. And that's what Clayton has been doing. We try to work within those confines. And yes, it is difficult at times, and we've had to say no to people. I know it's difficult. I haven't always felt good after I've had to say no, or even sometimes after I've said yes, because personally I didn't think it was good, or, people were upset with me. And I've made those decisions, but it was best for Clayton.
Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions from council?
Just to continue on with that, can you explain what you've learned during your time as a commissioner and how it will affect your decisions in the future?
I have learned that you really have to stay up to date with all the changing, like CEQA and RENA and different housing things and different laws, and you have to look out for all the new statutes coming out, so you have to always stay on top. And I've made it a habit of getting extra training all the time. The Institutes for Local Government always has training going on, so I sign up for them all the time. So I make sure I do that, so I'm staying on top of that, and I share it with the other planning commissioners. If you go back and look at some of the planning commission meetings, you can see where communications at the end, I always share what I've been doing and where they can find it.
Excellent, thank you. Any other questions for Ms. Schulman? Okay, well, I want to thank you for applying again, and thank you for your time. This concludes the interview, and then we're going to move on to the next item. So appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to give one more call out for Mr. Lazoya. If you are here, last call. I don't know. Do we have any hand raised for Mr. Lazoya?
We do not.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Then that concludes item number 4. I don't think public comment is necessary on item 4. Is that accurate?
You could probably merge it with the discussion on selection.
I'll do that. Okay, so that concludes item 4. We're going to advance the agenda just a moment and move quickly to item 9A. So 9A is sorry, my bad. 9B. 9B is the appointment of 3 individuals to the Planning Commission for a 2-year term. I'm going to start with public comment so that the audience has just heard from the candidates and their interviews. If there's anyone in the audience that has a public comment, now is your time. Mr. Gavidia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think in, was it early 2019, you were on council. Process was a little bit different. We were all kept outside. It was done one at a time, closed door. Still wonder why that's not the case, that we don't do it that way. These are 3 good interviews, but should each candidate be present and hear what the other candidates say? Other than that, the process, it does look, I do like the questions. They're much better that you decided. And also, Mayor Juan, I believe it was 10 o'clock when I got appointed. So thank you for moving it up, and hopefully you guys make this the way it's done all the time, because people come out here, they do the interview, they certainly don't want to be waiting until 10 p.m. to find out if they're on the Planning Commission or not. You've got 2 experienced candidates. You've got one that came prepared this time. I can only give him grief for one reason. He was in the Army. That's okay. I get to do that. Other than that, he seems like he's tried 3 times, and he showed up very prepared this time. So I think you guys have an easy job tonight.
Thank you. Are there any comments online?
We do not have any hands raised online.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no one else in the room, I will close public comment for item 9B and bring it back to council for discussion.
Well, I would like to, first of all, I want to comment on what Mr. Gavidia said. In fact, the city manager and I discussed the item and how we do the interviews, and I too favor individualized interviews as opposed to group, and we'll work on a process for the next time when that comes up. But as I mentioned earlier, as we only have 3 openings, we have 3 viable candidates for this position. I'm just going to make a motion. I'll let my other colleagues.
Well, if there's any discussion.
I will not usurp your power, but I would like us to move this along.
Sure.
Thank you.
I mean, as a technical matter, we're not required.
No,
to
and I want to compliment Charlie Schmidt. Having been somebody that has taken several attempts at getting on this body, 5 times, 10 years, your time has come, Charlie.
I too appreciate Mr. Schmidt's application. I think we've all appreciated Mr. Schmidt for each time that he's applied. It's just, it wasn't in the cards. There was nothing against Mr. Schmidt at the time. So, any other comments or discussion?
No, I just want to say I think we have 3 terrific candidates. I like that we have experienced planning commissioners reapplying and coming back. We've got some experience on the current planning commission, and I appreciate your tenacity and coming back and not giving up. So I agree. I think we have 3 viable candidates.
Yeah. I just want to thank all the candidates for applying. I know it takes a lot to take the time, put yourself out there. Anytime you're doing that, it's to be applauded. So no matter what happens, that's always a good thing. So, all right, if there was a motion, now would be a great.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would make a motion that we unanimously approve the 3 candidates that came before us and appoint them to the Planning Commission for the term ending June 30th, 2028.
His motion
Can you make
carries,
a different motion?
No, he's moving for your vote.
Unanimous.
Yeah. So.
I'll second it, Councilmember Diaz, even though I think it's a bit bizarre that we're asking for unanimous. I get the sentiment, though.
It was strictly hyperbole.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Diaz?
Yes.
Councilmember Trupiano?
Yes.
Councilmember Tillman?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Ania?
Yes.
Mayor Juan?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
He's a prognosticator. Thank you very much to all the applicants. Congratulations. Okay, that concludes item 9B. We're going to go back in time, Huey Lewis style, to item 4, to the consent calendar.
No, 5.
5. Okay, the glasses are failing with the number reading. Okay, item 5, the consent calendar. Does anyone have any item that they would like to pull from the consent calendar? Councilmember Tully.
Items 5D and E.
Delta Echo?
Correct.
Okay.
Same for me.
The E also. Any other takers? All right, let's talk about item 5D.
They're going to be the same questions, so I can just ask them together. But can staff give me a little bit of the history on these two items? Specifically, how long have we had them? I tried to go to Mrs. Callahan's point. I did try to go back to go find these meetings, and when I clicked on it, I got a 404 error. So I couldn't find, but I thought that there was a bit of an issue earlier this year where we needed to contract with the second person because, can you fill me in on that? Because
Sure,
I do
happy
have
to.
some questions.
Yeah. So the contracts were last summer, so they're coming up on 1 year now. We signed 1-year contracts with 3-year possible by mutual agreement renewals or amendments, and which is what we're bringing to you today for both the tree service as well as for the weeds abatement services. We did, to your point, earlier this year, add a second contractor to assist in the weed abatement work that was being done, and part of that was to due to a bit of a staffing issue, short-term staffing issue that the primary contractor had, and we had an experienced weed abatement company here locally that was able to step in and fill that gap. So you are remembering that correctly.
Okay, so then
Yeah, did they resolve that? Did
That's-
they resolve that issue, though?
They have since
Okay.
resolved that. We've had 6 people out there completing the weed abatement work since then. So.
Okay, so then going back then to the tree service, and pardon the pun, but I'm going to get in the weeds on the tree service just a little bit.
Understood the pun.
Okay. Can you tell me exactly what the tree service company is tasked with doing?
Sure. So there's a couple of different aspects to it. So it involves any public tree, any tree that's on city property, within our city right-of-ways, in our city parks, on this campus here, in fact. So any tree that requires extensive work. Now, our maintenance guys are quite capable of doing a lot of tree work. They did a lot of the work in the center divider along Clayton Road, for example, thinning out the larger trees there. But when you get into the much bigger trees, and so think of the Grove Park in particular, that is what Brightview has been working on extensively, has been really opening up the canopy at the Grove Park so that, frankly, the grass can grow and it's not be a dirt patch in the middle of the park. So they've been doing that kind of work. They've also consulted, they also have an arborist that we have available to us as well to determine the health of trees. The risk, I'm also doing risk assessment on trees that are perhaps going to lose a branch, and we've had some of those this year, and one oak in particular, which was quite expensive, but we had to take it down. It was along the trail and was high risk. So they do a lot of that risk assessment, risk evaluation through and with the arborist, as well as with the folks who do that. So they do big tree trimming, for the public trees, and evaluating any trees that are ill or sick or need treatment of some kind.
Whose role is it to trim the bushes if those are not considered trees?
That is maintenance staff.
Maintenance staff. Okay.
Think about a ladder, or people have to climb in the trees. That's why we have the professional tree service. They have climbers that go up and do the large trees. Our folks aren't doing that. Our city employees are not doing that.
Who's doing the ones where the bushes are as high as that speaker?
That would be city staff.
Okay, so that's not a ladder? I'm asking because,
It's a ladder,
okay,
but it's not climbing in the tree with
okay,
ropes.
okay, fair. So then, That was my concern, because I see a lot of bushes that seem like they need to be done, as well as weeds, so this goes to the weed abatement one.
Right.
Is the weed abatement that this particular company's in 5E is doing on the trails, or are they also in
All
the city
over.
right away?
There are city right-of-ways, trails, they've done everything. Open space. Here's the deal, weeds are a problem. It's not done. It's not going to be done. We had rain till May. All the weeds came back that they cut in March.
This is why I'm having this
Yes,
conversation, so
yes.
everyone can hear.
Yeah.
Because the weeds are, I'm 5 feet, half an inch. I'm going to give myself that half an inch.
Okay, we'll do that.
And some of the weeds are taller than me.
Yes.
So I can appreciate rain happens. They did not grow 5 feet in 2 months.
You are correct.
So my concern is that we are extending this contract, and I want to know that the work's going to get done regardless of it raining. So how are we going to do that? What are we going to do about that?
Extending the contract is a big step in that. We can continue to work all summer on that. We also have to work on pre-emergent,
Yes.
dispersing pre-emergent chemicals in order to reduce the weeds next spring. That did not happen this year at all, and so we're paying a price for that.
Okay.
But I think putting this particular company on contract, I think with a new public works director, really overseeing the integration more fully than I was ever able to do, the integration of contractors with our maintenance staff, which Craig's doing a great job already. I think that will help it be more effective and more efficient going
Okay.
forward.
And so do those two contracted companies work at Craig's direction and go out where he tells, like, is there going to be a schedule of when they're going to go out more frequently than what they're doing based now that he's here?
Yes.
Okay.
And with a work order system that will be integrated with our staff's work order system. So.
Okay, great. And then the only other question I had is not on this item, so that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, I just have a couple of questions on this, and I know that staffing was one, so thank you, Councilmember Tillman, for bringing that up. I know we did some steaming earlier in the year, and I don't know if that was successful or not successful, but it was expensive.
Well, so I would say it did not work at the level of the expectation I had.
Okay.
When I pour steaming hot water on a weed in my driveway, it dies.
Yeah.
It doesn't come back. However, what I did notice here was the steaming, they steamed both the pavers that we have in our center divider, especially along Clayton Road, as well as the planter portions. The weed abatement in between the pavers was very effective. I think just because there was a lower number of them, but you look at the pavers today, they're virtually weed-free. There's a few breakthrough weeds, but not very many. But in the areas amongst the other plants, it was not effective, and I wouldn't be recommending doing that again.
Okay.
I think it's handwork that needs to be done to clean those planters out.
Handwork, pre-emergent, as you mentioned.
Sure.
And then the only other question I had kind of relating to both D and E is, it says in the fiscal analysis that these amounts, because we're asking for increases, right? 120 and 240, another 120, sorry, have already been budgeted in the general fund in the landscape maintenance district. So did we anticipate that we were like way back when, that we were going to, bless you, need more money for these contracts?
So this is, basically, we're spending the same money in the next year that we spent in the current year. So the budgeted amount, we're just, so when we do an amendment, we're extending the length of the contract, and we're just doubling the amount not to exceed, because we're buying 2 years' worth of service instead of 1 year's worth of service.
Did you want to ask a follow-up?
Yeah, so that was actually my question on this. I think I know what's happening, but the language, my suggestion is, I think the language is unclear in the agenda. Because the way that it reads, I think to the reader, would be that we're increasing our contract for these services, and it makes it sound like they did an amount of work and we're saying we need more work. But what I heard you say in the beginning was that our original contract was a 1-year term with renewal periods, and so we were exercising our renewal period.
Yes, sir.
I think that's a clearer way to state it, that we're exercising the planned renewal periods that are in the existing contract at the rate that was agreed to in the original contract.
Yes, sir.
I believe there are 3 one-year renewal terms in the contract,
Yes, sir.
Yes.
and the amount is probably on some schedule that's in the contract, and so this is following that schedule?
Yes.
Okay, because it doesn't read that way when you
Okay.
read it.
Because it says an increase of 120,000 and then an increase of 120,000 and.
Yeah,
like-
so I read those
Okay.
both. I think I understood
I
what
got
it
it
tried
now.
to be, but it was, I had to think about it for a little bit. The only other thing I would say is when we do the exercise of our renewal period, our renewal option, it would be great to include the actual contract in the agenda packet
Oh, okay.
so that it's really clear, because none of the actual contracts are in, and so for the record keeping, when we look to prior packets, you can always see the contracts, so that's
Yeah.
great.
Okay.
And that would be helpful, I think. So that
So-
wasn't a question, that was just a statement.
So then for item F, I guess that's the same thing, the HVAC. I didn't say to pull F, but
Yes.
it's not really an increase of 40.
It's a second year.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Other questions or comments on items D, and I guess we're also talking about E?
And F.
Okay, wait, did someone pull F as well?
No, I just mentioned that, I said I didn't ask to pull F, but
Oh,
I just said,
same
so
thing.
it's not an increase of 40, it's, yeah.
Yeah, that makes it more clear, because then it doesn't trigger the red. Oh, anyways, okay, cool, thank you. All right, public comment on the consent calendar. Seeing none, is there any online?
We do not have any virtual speakers.
Okay, thank you. I will close public comment, and unless there's any other discussion, then I think motion for approval is
Move approval.
in order.
I'll second.
Would you please call the,
Councilmember Diaz,
Yes.
Councilmember Trupiano,
Yes.
Councilmember Tillman,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nia,
Yes.
Mayor Juan.
aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Excellent, thank you. That concludes item number 5. Next is there's no item 6, so item 7 is reports. Mr. City Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. Few quick items. Hope everybody was able to attend the Independence Day celebration this past weekend. It was packed. Lots and lots and lots of kids to open the parade, which was amazing and fun to watch. So I hope everybody had a good time, and I just want to thank everybody who was involved in the planning committee, our police department, our maintenance crews for getting everything ready to go, to lend a hand to make such a successful event here in Clayton. So that was great. Just as an update, we have some recruitments, police officer recruitment. We were fully staffed for a short period of time. We had one resignation from one of our new hires. So we are back out on the recruitment train looking for a new police officer. One of our senior maintenance workers decided to retire last week, so he's no longer with the city. So we will be opening a recruitment to fill that position. And we'd like to thank him for his 24 years of service here in Clayton. So congratulations to Dan for reaching that wonderful milestone of retirement. Update on some of the work that we're doing for health and safety out in our roadways. Red curbs are currently being attended to, and we're working off of that list. Should be done by the end of the month. We also have the striping crosswalks, stop sign limits that we shared with you a couple months ago. Our contractor will be getting started in a couple weeks, and it'll take them, 2 weeks to complete. So by first week of August, all of that work should be completed as well. So looking forward to that. There is an online tracker for a lot of these projects on our website. We're working on putting a more prominent link so people can find it a little easier, so they can see how we're progressing and where we are in all of that work. But it continues to get accomplished. Quick update on council meetings coming up. Our next meeting, we do not have one. It is canceled. August 4th, we also do not have a council meeting because that is National Night Out. So please join us at City Hall, which is Tuesday, August the 4th. It'll start at 6 p.m. Free hot dogs. Come see a lot of our community groups and meet some police officers and some of the equipment that they use in their day-to-day life. And you can check out the new Polaris that was in the 4th of July parade. So that concludes my report. If you have questions, happy to answer.
When we did Mayor for the Day, police chief let the kids use the night vision. That was cool. So that was pretty fun. Excellent. And the tracker that you mentioned is great. I just really want to call that out. I think that's an important resource for the community to see the work that's actually being done. So to the extent that you make that right on the front page.
Yes, we're trying to put a link there and then updating it at least once a week at the end of the week so that we can capture what work has been done.
Excellent, thank you. All right, that concludes 7A. 7B is City Council reports. Those are in the agenda packet. And next is item 8A. This is a public hearing for the consideration of approval of a resolution on the proposed annual levy of assessments for the Diablo Estates Clayton Benefit Assessment District, the BAD. But before that, we are going to take a 5-minute recess so that we can recess. So 5 minutes. We will return at 8:01. Okay.
Chris, are you ready?
I said 8:01.
You're going to wait till 8:00?
Yeah, 5 minutes. We said 5. Oh, wait a
Did
minute.
Larry give you the time?
Yeah, he did. It's nice. All right, it is 8:01. It's been 5 minutes. Are we all ready to go? All right, back from recess. We were on item 8A. This is the public hearing for the BAD. And I guess the procedure is to open the public hearing. And I believe there's a staff report.
Just a real brief staff report, Mr. Mayor, and members of the public. So this, the assessment has been determined to remain status quo this year as it has for the last couple of years. So $4,142.06 per parcel for the benefit assessment district for Diablo Estates at Clayton. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Excellent. Questions for staff?
I just have one. I know at the last meeting, we had asked if you had heard any feedback from the residents. I'm sorry?
Oh, he's looking for the page.
Oh, okay. If you had heard from any of the residents, if they had shared anything with you, et cetera, still nothing?
Still nothing.
Okay.
I did provide a couple of them with email copies of the engineer's report upon their request, and so to give them all the details. But I got no further questions or comments from them.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for staff? All right, public comment is next. I do have one speaker card for this item. I will call you first. Mr. Brand, are you in the audience? If you could turn on the microphone.
It's that button there.
There you go. Thank you.
Very good. My name is Tom Brand. I'm a resident with Diablo Estates. I had a number of things I wanted to go over regarding the engineer's report. The first one is it's my understanding that it's required by law to distribute this engineer's report to all the residents. That didn't happen. We got the notification letter, and Dennis, maybe you're familiar with this, and we did not get the hard copy prior to this hearing. I don't think that's a major problem, but we would all like to get a hard copy of the engineer's report. I think this might be symptomatic of a larger problem. We've tried to contact various members of the staff. There's a lot of new staff trying to find out who's responsible for the BAD, the Beneficial Assessment District, and nobody could find that person. Is this in somebody's job description? Is somebody assigned in their job description to administer the contracts that are led under the Beneficial Assessment District?
I don't want to take your time, so if you have all your questions, then.
Yeah, okay. Our landscaping is dying, and it's because nobody's giving direction to the landscape contractor. This has happened before. We finally got somebody in there, Larry Thies, who's the part-time engineer who took over that contract, and we residents worked with him very, very well. He no longer works for the city, and we don't know who's responsible now. But we need action now. The plants are dying. Last time it cost us about $10,000 to replace them. We don't want that to happen again. Second, in the engineering report itself, the replacement cycle for capital items is outdated, and I'll just say it's wrong. I mean, even a casual reader can see that there are flaws in there. The replacement schedule for the filtration basins was set at 10 years. That 10-year period is long past. And it's not a matter that there's any problem with the retention basins. The report needs to be fixed. The replacement items, the capital items and whatnot, if those are wrong, then the reserve funding is also going to be wrong.
Mr. Brand, your time is up, but if you had anything that you'd like to wrap up, then that's okay. I don't want to cut you off too much.
Okay. Well, I can wrap this in 30 seconds. Is that okay?
Please.
All right. Half the budget is in one line item. It's called Other. That line item needs to be broken down. It's just wrong to have half the budget under one other category. That's really about it.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comments on this item? Seeing none, do we have any public comments online?
We do not.
Okay, thank you. So I will close public comment on item 8A and bring it back to council. But first, I know that there were a number of questions from Mr. Brand. I did write them down. If staff has any comment at this point, that'd be great. If not, then we can get back to Mr. Brand and the residents.
Yeah, why don't we do it that way? I mean, unless well, here's what I'll say is I think Craig will be taking over the role as being the point of contact, and I did share that with Mr. Brand, that Craig would be that person, so.
Can you introduce Craig real quick?
Craig Blythe is our Public Works Director. Craig, can you just put your hand up in the air or stand up? So there you go. I did call McCall Landscaping, who is the service provider for that particular, for the BAD. And there was a problem with the timer that shut down one of the circuits that was repaired. So I think we should have no more dying plants. And if any did die, they will be replaced. I was reassured of that. So I think McCall has been responsive anytime I've had to reach out to them about any questions.
Okay, thank you. And then to the extent that there are other responses to other questions, I think you can respond to Mr. Brand and the residents. That budget line item was kind of interesting, but you could figure out what's up with that. And that'd be great. Okay, so discussion among council for this. I think the staff recommendation is to keep the assessment flat, even though I would like to call out that the rules allow us to increase the levy annually by a certain amount. And because of the activity in the district, I think at least last year and the year prior, we've kept it flat. And this year, the suggestion by staff is to do the same. So my assessments go up every year, but this one looks like it doesn't. So.
Well, and I think, Dennis, didn't you say there's a healthy reserve as well in the account?
It's somewhere north of $400,000.
400,000, yeah,
Yes.
okay.
The only other thing that I would add to this is now that we do have Craig on board, is ensuring that city staff are interacting with the residents that are in the BAD to ensure that they are having their needs met. I know that Mr. Brand mentioned that they had Mr. Thies. I don't know how often they would interact with him or not. But to the extent that they might want to be levied more the next time this comes to us, because they actually have some ideas of what they might want to have done in their neighborhood. So I'll just put that out there. Thank you.
Yeah, it's always a good recommendation to communicate more. So, okay. Any other discussion that council would like to have? All right, well, then I think, I'm trying to look at the right order. do we close the public hearing? Okay, close the public hearing and look for a motion for the annual assessment.
I'll move for approval of the annual assessment and approval of resolution number 28-2026.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Could we please call the roll?
Councilmember Diaz.
Yes.
Councilmember Trupiano.
Yes.
Councilmember Tillman.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Ania.
Yes.
Mayor Juan.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Excellent, thank you. That concludes item 8A. Item 8B is another public hearing, and this is to consider the resolution to call general municipal election and consolidate with a statewide general election to extend the term of the landscape and maintenance district of the LMD through 2037. I believe staff has a report.
Just a brief report. So this is in keeping with the discussions we've had beginning last fall about the renewal of the landscape maintenance district. Included in the resolutions today is also a revised rates and methods of not appropriations, the method of apportionment, thank you, for the LMD, which includes the extra one-time 10% catch-up escalator that we have in there, and keeping basically all the other terms and conditions of methodology of apportionment the same. And the difference would be the difference in revenue would be about 1.3 million currently, and it would go to about 1.5 million if it was approved by the voters. The max rate for that first year would be $354 and change for each parcel, residential parcel, or acre or fraction thereof for non-residential properties. And this will require a simple majority from the council and 2/3 plus one vote of the public in order to be approved. So if you have any other questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you. Questions for staff? I would just ask, the provisions within the proposal here are all consistent with the terms that we've discussed. There's been no material changes.
No material changes.
Okay. Seeing none for now, I will open public comment. If there's any public comment on, I opened a public hearing first. This is public comment. On this item, this is the LMD renewal. Okay, seeing none, is there any public comment online?
No.
Okay, then I will close public comment on this item and bring it back to council. Any additional discussion that council would like to have on this item? All right, well, that's been great. We have been talking about this for a long time, so maybe we've said all there is needed to say about this. So I will close the public hearing and look for a motion on this item.
Mr. Mayor, I will move for approval on adopting resolution number 29-2026 to call a general municipal election and consolidate with the statewide general election to extend the term of the Landscape and Maintenance District, LMD, until June 30, 2037, and the levy of assessments based on the revised rate and method of apportionment for the existing LMD, and setting rules and deadlines for submittal of arguments for and against the tax measure.
I'll second it.
Excellent. If we could please call the roll.
Councilmember Diaz.
Yes.
Councilmember Trupiano.
Yes.
Councilmember Tillman.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Ania.
Yes.
Mayor Juan.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. That concludes item 8B, and surprise, item 9E is actually a public hearing, so we're going to advance item 9E in the public hearing section. Our city manager informed me earlier. So let's go to item 9E in your books. We're jumping around a little bit, I know, it's hard to follow, but we'll do our best.
Just want to make sure we're paying attention.
Yes. So this is the introduction of ordinance number 504, adding a section to the city municipal code relating to the electronic filing of fair political practice commission campaign disclosure statements. Please take us away.
Thank you, Mayor. So this item is setting an ordinance to allow us to take electronic filing. To be in compliance with the government code, we have to have this ordinance so that we can accept the electronic filing. One of the stipulations within that is it cannot cause burden or deny somebody use who was used to using, say, a paper file. So what we are doing is if people need help, assistance, they can come to City Hall. We'll walk them through. Or they can bring the paper one, fill it out themselves, provide it to the city clerk. She will then upload it and do it for them so that people will be able to file their appropriate paperwork in a timely fashion. So simply put, this is the ordinance to set the allowability of us to take electronic filing. So once we have that in place, then we won't be accepting the paper ones any longer. For those of you that have to fill out all those wonderful forms, you can do it from the comfort of your home and not have to fill out the paper and drop it off and put it in the notebook. We will then keep all of our records digitally in accordance with law.
We're required to do this?
We are not required to do
We're
this.
not required.
We are not required to do this. This is something that
modernizing our process?
we're modernizing and hopefully taking some workload from our wonderful city clerk.
Thank you.
Yes.
Questions for staff?
I do have a question. So some of the forms, and don't ask me to name the numbers.
Which number and letter?
Because there's a lot of them. Some do have to be physically stamped by the city clerk and then sent to the Secretary of State. So how will that work when we're filing online? I mean, it literally is like an official.
Typically, the online program stamps it, and that's sufficient for filing. They have a stamp for that area.
Okay, and so then you'll be copied, or the city will be copied, as well as, we'll both have copies?
Yes.
And so then getting it to the Secretary of State, if that's the case, will be still our responsibility?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent. Other questions for staff?
Yeah, I like a little clarification. When you say electronic filing, is this for the general applications for city processes, or is this something else? In other words, noise permits, no, okay, those still have to be filed by paper.
You want to?
These are just for campaign disclosure statements.
Okay, is that the 460, 470s, or excuse me, 700?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions for staff? Okay.
When do we expect this to go online?
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
To be determined.
Okay. I just mean for this election period, I guess is what I'm asking. Is it going to go into effect before this election?
We are hoping
Okay.
to get it rolled out by then.
Okay.
And we need the ordinance to go into effect, so we actually need to bring this back at your meeting in August.
Okay.
Since we're missing, and then it takes 30 days thereafter.
Okay.
Does it have to be at a regular meeting?
I can look into that.
Because I think we may be having a special meeting at some point, and so maybe you want to just slide
Yeah.
it in there.
Yeah. I'll confirm if we can, we can do that.
Okay, excellent, thank you. Other questions for staff? Seeing none, let's open public comment on this public hearing. Any public comment on this item? Seeing none, is there any public comment online?
No, there is not.
All right, I will close public comment and close the public hearing, and I think we're looking for a motion. Would anyone like
I'll
to?
make a motion to move us into this century. I'm just kidding. I'll do the right one.
That's not in the
I'm
motion.
just kidding. I'm feeling punchy tonight. All right, I will make a motion. Well, what am I making the motion on? I'm sorry.
Ordinance number 504.
Thank you. To approve ordinance number 504, adding section 2.02.040 to the City of Clayton Municipal Code under Title II Administration and Personnel, Chapter, et cetera.
I'll second that.
Could we please call the roll?
Councilmember Diaz.
Yes.
Councilmember Trupiano.
Yes.
Councilmember Tillman.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Ania.
Yes.
Mayor Juan.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right. Okay. So now we're going back in time. That concludes item 8. We're on item number 9. The 9A is the appointment of council members to an ad hoc committee to author the direct and rebuttal arguments for the LMD thing that we just talked about earlier. This is similar to what we did at our last meeting regarding the sales tax. I guess it's called something else, but I'll just call it sales tax. And so I think we're doing something similar here as well. I don't think there's a staff report unless there wants to be. No. Okay. Anyone have any questions for staff on this item? Okay. Public comment on this item. This is item 9A, the appointment of the ad hoc committee. Any public comment here? Okay. Is there any public comment online?
None.
Okay, thank you very much. So back to discussion. Is there anyone who would love to write the argument for the LMD?
I want to move just that we reappoint the two that were on the other one, all right?
Okay.
I guess the two that were on the other one is.
I believe
Yeah, A and B.
Councilmember Tillman and Councilmember Trupiano.
I accept.
You've been
As do
conscripted.
All right, I'll make the motion that we approve and appoint council members Tillman and Trupiano to this ad hoc committee.
And you guys are cool? All right.
Yes.
Yeah, we're already working on the other one, so that's fine.
So you second the motion?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, excellent. Could we please call the roll?
Councilmember Diaz.
Yes.
Councilmember Trupiano.
Yes.
Councilmember Tillman.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Ania.
Yes.
Mayor Juan.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. We've already done item 9B. This is 9C. Next is 9C, and this is a resolution for approving the engineer's report and proposed streetlight assessments for the operation and maintenance of streetlights in the streetlight assessment district. Is there a staff report?
Very, very brief staff report for the SAD, if you will.
That's not as cool as the bad.
It's close, though.
Okay.
I'm looking for a MAD at some point, so we can have that in there too, but maybe a municipal assessment district at some point.
The GAD,
Just thinking.
the bad, the sad.
Yeah, there we go.
All right.
So real simply, this is to fund streetlight operations. Currently, this is operating at a very, very slight deficit. And I will say, from a budgeting standpoint, it's getting better, partly because the change in the lights is reducing our electrical bill. So this is something where immediate action to change the assessment, which we actually can't do. All you're doing is reauthorizing the existing assessment. There's no rate increase possible here, which is why we fell behind. But this is beginning to somewhat stabilize and remedy itself, maybe going forward with the reduction in electrical charges due to the changes to the LED lights on the street lights. So this is helping. But there's no real action here other than approving the assessment as it already has existed. There's no change in this assessment whatsoever.
Not allowed.
Not allowed
Excellent, thank you.
in the SAD.
Questions for staff?
Yes. Does this apply only to the city-owned lights and not the ones that are owned by PG&E?
That's correct.
Thank you.
And I just want to say thank you, because that was my question earlier for our city manager. Have our LED lights reduced our lighting expenditures, so thank you for taking a look back in history. And while it is almost $13,000, it sounds like it's coming down.
Correct.
Okay.
And because LEDs last so much longer than the old technology lamps, I also expect the replacement materials and labor costs to reduce as well. So I think, this is trending in a good direction.
Good, thank you.
That was going to be my question. As I look at page 9 out of the 77, and please don't ask me what page, it might be 170 out of the packet. I think it's 170. Where it has transferred to the general fund for city administration, $15,000, administration and county collection fees, $4,000, engineering/inspection, $5,000. So that $24,000 out of this particular budget, has that changed at all?
No, not really. I mean, the charges, the engineering firm is part of Francisco and Associates charges to put together the engineering report, and do the analysis, the fiscal analysis on behalf of the city. Our admin charges are prorated just based on the amount of work we do in there, which is pretty static because there's not much to be done other than managing the assessments coming in and making sure the bills get paid.
Okay. So this is, I'm going to try to think of the, it's not an hourly rate charge for the person who's doing the work. So if there's someone who is now overseeing that is making a different salary, it's costing us more or less?
It's been the same person. It's basically our
Okay.
accountant's time.
Accountant, thank
Yeah.
you.
That's where the admin charge comes from.
Thank you. Okay. That was it.
I do have a follow-up. Just out of curiosity, I know we have a lot of streetlights. Do we have an inventory on how many that the city owns and how many that PG&E owns?
We do. I do not know that number off the top of my head.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah.
It'd be helpful
We
to know that.
do. Okay.
Because are they easily identifiable, the ones that are PG&E versus the ones that are city? Because I do get a call from occasional resident that says, this light is out in my neighborhood.
Yes,
Same.
PG&E has a number on it, and
Yeah.
it'll say PG&E.
Yeah, so exactly, as Councilmember Trupiano just said, there is a PG&E label on each of the PG&E lights. Ours don't. They all have some kind of a serial number on them, just so we can track the replacement of bulbs and whatnot on them. But I don't know the exact number.
And Climatech did an analysis of all of our streetlights in the beginning of our contract, so they knew which ones to convert that were city-owned to LED. And then, of course, last year PG&E did their conversion.
Excellent. Okay, public comment on this item? Seeing none, is there any public comment online?
None.
None? Okay, thank you. I will close public comment on item 9C and bring it back for discussion. Any other thoughts on the
Yes, I
streetlights?
just have one more quick question, I'm sorry.
Sure.
The expenditure for the PG&E line item of $90,000, what is that for?
That's to pay the electrical bill to turn the light on.
Oh, Jesus Christ. It's time to go to bed.
It runs on sunshine. Okay. Are you good? Okay, excellent. All right, is there a motion on this item?
Yeah, I'll move on to adopt resolution number 31-2026, approving the engineer's report and proposed assessments for the operation and maintenance of streetlights in the Streetlight Assessment District for fiscal year 26-27.
I'll second.
Excellent. If we could please call the roll.
Councilmember Diaz.
Yes.
Councilmember Trupiano.
Yes.
Councilmember Tillman.
Aye, I'm still laughing at myself. Aye.
Vice Mayor Ania.
Yes.
Mayor Juan.
Aye for the sad.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right, that concludes 9C. The next item is item 9D. This is a discussion on a construction contract to Bay City's paving and grading. Is there a staff report?
Sure. Just a brief staff report. It's longer in the packet, but we went out to bid for the street segments that you had approved in early spring of '25. Earlier this spring, we received 5 bids And we had one successful low bid from Bay City's Paving and Grading. With us tonight is Jason, sorry, I had it written down on another page. Jason from Bay Cities. He's actually grew up in Clayton. So it's nice to have, he's enjoying the fact that he's getting to come home to work on this project, and so that's really exciting. He's also here with his wife who's supporting him. And so I'm just looking forward to the contract. I think it felt like a really good fit. In terms of the schedule, we're still working out the details. There's two different schedules being developed, and they'll bring that back shortly to us to get us going. We're trying to work around the start of school in particular, I think is the one thing we're being super sensitive about, given some of the locations of the road segments that have been selected. But I think we're looking forward to a really, really good project here.
You should do it on the first day of school at 8 a.m.
Dude, staff's not recommending that.
No, don't do that.
Well, and I would say too, also, and welcome Jason and his wife, for Main Street particularly, just to make sure it's not around like Hispanic Heritage Day event coming
We have all
up.
the dates.
Or,
Yeah.
yeah, or holidays in the
Yep,
Grove.
we got
Thank
it.
you.
Excellent. All right. Does that conclude your report?
That concludes our report.
Okay, questions for staff?
Not a question, but maybe a typo on page 170. This is the one that's on page 170. It references Rapid Grading Services. I didn't know if that was like a subsidiary of this one or if that's,
That's an old, that was actually the people who did your 2024 project.
okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I missed that.
Okay, it's under the fiscal impact on page
Okay.
170.
Yeah,
Okay, that was it.
that's it.
Other questions for staff? Okay, public comment? You're welcome to make a comment, but it's not required. Okay, seeing none, public comment online?
None.
Okay, thank you. I will close public comment on 9D, bring it back for discussion.
It's nice to see a local company getting one of our bids. from
Excellent.
Concord.
Like it.
It's very nice. Thank you.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we award the contract Bay Cities Paving and Grading. Let me see what the, hold on a second.
That's pretty good.
I'll second the motion.
I don't think it has a number on it, does it?
No, it's okay.
I'll just make a motion for approval.
All right, we have a motion and a second from Councilor
Yes.
Diaz. If we could please call the roll.
Councilmember Diaz?
Yes.
Councilmember Trupiano?
Yes.
Councilmember Tillman?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Ania?
Yes.
Mayor Wan?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Yay!
All right, congratulations. That concludes item 9D. We've done 9E. The next item is item 10, that is adjournment. It is 8:33. Thank you very much.
Woo. Thank you.
Particular, I think is